Hey everyone, so this is a demonstration on how I use Pixlr. First, you need to go to pixlr.com. You're probably familiar with it by now. So I scroll down. There are two Pixlr options, the easy mode and the more Photoshop equivalent mode. So I choose the one on the right, the powerful image editor. So I click launch. This is the area where any previous projects you were working on are automatically saved. So I can either upload an image from my computer or find one on the internet. I personally will be demonstrating how to do it on the internet because I am using photos from there. I did not take my own for this particular demonstration. You, having taken your own photos, will have to transfer the photos from your camera by opening up your camera, taking out the very thin, small memory chip, but not the slightly bigger battery pack. And you're going to put that chip in the side of your Chromebooks to click and drag your photos onto your Chromebooks. So you can open those by clicking Open Image and locating them on your computer. But for me, I'm going to click Create New. You are allowed to use some photos on the internet by searching for them and including them only if they take up possibly 10% or less of your actual image. It should be mostly your photos. So from what we have to choose from here, you have small canvases you can work with, 800 by 600 pixels, web-sized full HD. I'm going to go with web-sized. I'm going to click create. This is my blank canvas. I Googled away and found some background pictures that I plan on using for this. So I'm going to right click and go down to copy image. So it's saved in my computer, that particular image with those dimensions. Here, I can't right click and paste. It won't let me. So I need to get very familiar with the basic computer shortcuts. So if you look at your computer, Control V does a paste. So think of V like Velcro because you want to stick what like Velcro. So this is going to be my background image. If you look at the right-hand side here, here are my layers. Think about them in terms of like Polaroid pictures that are laying out on your table in front of you. As you start adding more pictures, they layer on top of each other. Whichever one is on top of the others is the one that is most visible. This is just kind of like background layer. If I want one to go invisible because I need to focus on a different picture, I can click on this and this little visibility box. Um, uh, if I need to copy paste more things on top of it, I have a picture here, right click, copy. Another shortcut for copying is Control C for copy, just if you want to utilize your shortcuts, and then Control V. Now, this top button here is the one that helps you move and arrange your objects. So if you want him here or here, that's something that you can use that tool for. Over here, my layers are starting to stack on top of each other. If the boys layer is on top of the background hospital hallway, that's going to be the thing that's overlapping and most visible. If for whatever reason I wanted to arrange them differently, I just click and drag them. That boy is still there. I didn't make his box go invisible. I just put the background on top of it. That's how the layers work. It's important to understand how those work. If another important thing to do if you make lots of mistakes and don't know how to go back, like let's say I do many clicks worth of mistakes, the history down here keeps track of every click you do. So you could go backwards into the history and click one little move at a time, or take those things back by clicking forward into history. Another because I don't want my paintbrush tool to mark up my design like this. If you think, oh no, quick, save it, I made a mistake and I need to go back, Control Z as in zebra can help you go back each step. So just press Control Z as many times as you want to until that's undone. Now, if I want to erase the background of this boy so that he is the only thing here and not this other background, you do not want to use your eraser tool and erase that. Yes, it's doing what you want it to, but Control Z, want to undo that. Um, it's a very destructive way of destroying your image. It's not the way to go. Because if you save it, if it's saved and you go back to it tomorrow, you can't undo any of that. So here is a less destructive way. You go to this cutout or masking tool over here. Now make sure the correct layer is highlighted. Right now, this boy layer right here, and there is a way you can go in and rename them. If I wanted to name this boy and then name this, click the dots, hospital. That way I don't confuse my layers and I'm not relying completely on those thumbnail sketches. If I have the wrong layer highlighted, it's going to be editing the wrong one. So I want to highlight the boy layer here, and I'm going to go over to my mask tool, and this top bar is going to be your best friend. So you can erase big areas. Ooh, undo. You can use the paintbrush tool to erase big areas, but it's going to take me forever to use this small tool. I might need to change the size of this so that it is bigger, but the edges can also be softer or harder. And boy, is that a bigger picture, isn't it? And it's revealing the space underneath. Some of you, if you remember projects possibly from last year, you know that there is a magic masking tool and sometimes a lasso tool that allows you to use like the computer's algorithm, and it one click at a time it'll use its algorithm to figure out exactly what it is that you are clicking and what you are hoping to erase. But those edges don't look very natural. They don't look right. So I'm going to press Control Z. You could also do the lasso tool, but sometimes the algorithm doesn't really know what you want it to do. So I'm just going to use the paintbrush tool, but I'm not erasing it. And it's the equivalent of you painting. It's not really an eraser. You're using the brush tool. If you accidentally, oh no, I erased the boy, um, you can go up here to mode. Right now it's in remove mask. I want to add my mask back and maybe make my brush smaller. And I can add that boy right back. So even if you step away from this for a day and open this up again, this will be fixable. So I need to carefully outline him and make it look like he's running down a hallway. I'm pressing Control plus on my computer screen to zoom in. And this is, and you can use Control minus to zoom back out again. But this is when precision comes in. You could find one of those fancy tools and get it to work well for you, or you could go in and make sure you very, very carefully erase around edges. If you do it with an edge or a paintbrush that is too fuzzy or too sharp, depending, it might look unnatural or unrealistic. Now this is right here, this little corner, that's going to be hard for some people to get in there and erase like corners here. So if I mask a little bit too much, but then reverse this, it allows me to make a crisper, sharper edge when adding that mask back. Control Z. Like that little area right there is a good example. It's hard for me to get a brush thin enough for that. So I might need to erase a little too much and then add back whatever extra I need. Control Z. Control Z is kind of it's a very important tool for you to go back to. So if you don't remember anything from this demonstration, know that masking is one of the most important tools that you can use here because it is a rookie mistake to erase the background that you don't want. I'm gonna speed this along a little because I don't want um, to take up too much of your demonstration time here. But there's one more thing that I would like to demonstrate for you, and it is going to help create the mood for your surreal Photoshop project. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to call that good for now. If I wanted to get into the details and really fix up, oops, those areas later, I can zoom in and make my brush very, very small. So making sure the right layer is highlighted, I want to teach you guys about the adjustments layer. So I might click the hospital if I wanted to give it a spookier background. Anything under the adjustments tab is going to be the way to go. So I can adjust just the highlighted layer, the brightness, make it brighter, make it darker. And this is when you see the little areas around the boy that's helping a lot. You can see the areas around the boy where I need to go back in and touch those up a little bit. Adjustments, temperature or tint. Do you want it to be warmer background? Do you want it to be cooler background? It just adjusts the temperature. Do you want it to be tinted purple or tinted green? But there's also hue saturation, and that gives you a little more control over what colors your background are. I'm sliding this around and it controls the hue or the color of that background, but you might want to um, adjust the saturation because I darkened it so much you can't even tell that I'm adjusting the color. It might make it might make it look more surreal. It might make it look more realistic. It's kind of up to you. I do not want either of those, but if you want to cancel, if you don't like any of those, there you go. If you want to adjust the boy so that he matches the background, that is also an option. Color balance gives you a lot more control over what the background color is going to look. Right now, the boy is the one that's highlighted, so he's the color that is changing. But maybe I want it to be more blue, so I'm going to adjust blues, maybe keep this here. More blue on this end or more orange. That's something that you need to decide which one fits your design most. So I think I'm choosing kind of a cool background. And I'm going to highlight the boy and go to temperature tints. Make him a little blue to match that too, to make it a little spooky. And if I want to move him around, I go back to that selection tool and I can add him wherever I want. If you need to, again, make him bigger or smaller, you move this, but there is a free transform or a distort tool that you might want to do. It doesn't make any sense for me to do it to this project, but if you do a tree or flowers, this might be the way to go. So I just taught you about layers and history and masking and adjustments. And as far as saving goes, no, I don't want to apply. You could save it, but you don't want to save it as a JPEG or it flattens all your layers and it doesn't keep track of what you've been doing. So you're going to want it to be a Pixlr file. Um, so hallway. If I click download, it'll go to my computer. I'm not quite done with it yet, so I don't want to save it. In fact, if I exit out and then reopen Pixlr, you notice I didn't save it. Saving is just another word for downloading. If I scroll down and open up Pixlr again, it's right here and it's ready for me to keep editing. It still has my layers. So that is all I have to say